Thank you very much. So to continue what students can do, for example, as a medical student, during our computer posting, we go to some of these PhDs, medical student, you can pick maybe an abnormal line, then escalate to appropriate. So even as a medical student, you can use your knowledge, even bridge the gap. The doctors now always have to come and be the one doing it. And then also you can also change the midwives that are there. You can train the midwives. I mean, you don't have to be a doctor to be able to do blood pressure or to check BMI or to even do obstetric palpation to know whether this child and this cephalic or not. So all of those stuff. And then what local solutions can be the gap? I mean, free medical checkup, periodic, like I also said, training local midwives, also training hospitals in the environment, even encourage the people in the environment, let them gather money and buy something like $100 to check if it has good. I mean, the government does not always have to be the one doing that for them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So let's have a second group. Can we celebrate them? It's 1 minute.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name is Ibosa from the University of Benin. And so my group discussed what factors contribute to this gap in maternal care, and we said that maybe the local government of that particular clinic does not really take responsibility for the primary health care sector. They are not advocating for their needs. Two, when qualified staff are posted to that particular area, they do not want to go, and because of corruption in the system, they may be able to navigate their postings to other prosperous regions. And number two, how can students and community members advocate or intervene? We mentioned writing letters, visiting the public health offices, visiting the local government offices, and letting them know their primary health care center needs. And number three, what low-cost solutions can bridge the gap? We mentioned social media, basically collaborating with popular influencers to let them know the problem in that particular area. Number two, carrying out community health outreaches. As students usually have health outreaches, so going to that particular area to host our health outreach. Making the people there collaborate together, maybe contributing their little 500 naira, their little 1,000 naira to maybe get reagents or repair their equipment so that they can take better care of themselves. So that was what we discussed in our group. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'll celebrate them as well. Thank you so much.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nathaniel. I'm from the University of Ghana. So from the third group, it's a bit, I don't know, it's a complex matter as it were. So we're not going to discuss in depth, but these were the things we highlighted. So on the factors that contribute to this gap in maternal care, I think I'll just match question one or two together. So someone mentioned the fact that it's an institutional problem, which means that the government is largely responsible for it. And this could have been an oversight from the government because the government is responsible for equipping institution with relevant facilities and equipment. So for the public health center or primary health center to not have essential equipment, it can be traced to government largely. So the first solution that we came about was that students, we could write petitions to government or inform the government that okay, this and this and this are lacking in social places. Then we could also volunteer for advocacy to inform the government that these things need to be done. Then someone mentioned the fact that we could collaborate with traditional leaders in the mini communities to facilitate easy outreaches like many of us do today. And then we could also, lastly, we could also work about health education because apart from cure, especially for prevention, so as students, we could go there to organize health awareness programs and advocacy and all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now let's celebrate all the three things together, please. All right, so we'll move on to the next stage of the event, and I'll be handing over to my co-host, I think, to bring up creativity up. I can bring back a group to save my life. So I think Pfizer will be better than bringing me home. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. A round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much for waiting to this point. Okay, let's just move on. Second was, medical school can be a lot. No, yes or yes? Sorry, medical school is a lot. I don't want to say can be a lot. But when you are like just going through a lot and you just scroll through Instagram or TikTok and you just see this content, you'll be like, we are plenty, people will go through a lot. Like everybody's going through, especially this 50 parts. You know, I've been wanting to explain to people that are not from medicine departments that it's not my fault. I can explain. I was brilliant when I was in secondary school. People cannot understand. But when I got to medical school, I started seeing this course. So there was one time I just posted the video. This is the story of my life. Say no more. Please don't ask me questions. I'm so emotional. But the fact that, oh my God, I'm supposed to be reading now. What am I doing with my life? My mates are reading. So, all in all, his contents are so relatable and so creative. At one point, I was just like, oh, this man never run out of ideas because, I bet what I mean. Alright, thank you so much. So, I'm really inspired now. Great is a 5th year medical student and a recognized content creator who has built a dedicated audience by blending entertainment with insightful medical. His work has garnered attention, leading to Med UK, Data Tab, and others. Further established the field, his unique approach continues to inspire and inform, making a significant impact in both digital and medical communities. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know you've been enjoying Ratism's content, I know what to learn. Please give him a resounding round of applause and on your stage. Now you're loud. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. It's an honor to be here. So, Ratinzi, my real name is Oluwatimile Akimbile. So that's like a secret somehow. But well, my name cannot be a secret, but I mean, now you know. So, bold moves, big impacts. Bold moves would make big impacts. So, when did I start creating content? Because I'm just using my story to just make this talk. So I started creating content as far back as 2019, and then, you know, skits were not so popular then. I was on Instagram randomly, because that was when I just gained admission to UI, and that was when I had the luxury to use a phone, because I'm from a street home now. So I saw a video on Instagram. It was a joke from somebody I used to look up to a lot. I still look up to him. He doesn't create content anymore. Let me tell you the joke. He said he has a friend. It's a dry joke, Pons, P-O-N-S. Said, I have a friend, his name is Alebo. Alebo went to the market one day to get some fruits, and as he was coming back, someone stole them from him. So when they caught the thief, they were beating the thief was like, he meant no harm, he just wanted to eat the fruits of Alebo. So I was like, no, that was very brilliant. So I had to like take note of the guy's page, and I watched more of his videos. Then I saw a lot of jokes on his page. He said, if a bee should land on my head, am I going to be beheaded? So I now wanted to make my own version of that joke. So I didn't think much of it. It was not like a serious, it was not like conscious effort so much like that. So I just picked up my phone. It was like a selfie video, and I made my own joke. I said, if I should eat the head of bees, am I going to go behead? But I just did that. But the fact that I just did that all of a sudden, and I posted it on my WhatsApp status, because then I had like little WhatsApp status TV then. I used to do all these, please add me up, I'm very funny. I used to post memes and all that. So I had like 500 views and all that. So when I posted it on my status, people reacted to it a lot. So it now motivated me to want to make another video. So I made another video after that, and I made more videos after that. So I stopped for a while when I resumed school, but I had to focus on my studies, UI can be very serious and all that. But I continued later. But the point of this is that Zig Ziglar said something. So you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I didn't think so much about it. I didn't think about the future or anything. It was just something that I loved, and I enjoyed the content, and I just wanted to recreate something like that, and I just did it. And that was how I started creating content. So the transition to medical content was now when we crossed over to UCH, and I said I was not going to be making videos anymore, because I wanted to like focus on part and farm. Part and farm was like dealing with my life. If you've done part and farm here, I know you can relate. So Panama was very hard for me. Then there was this MTCN exam that I went to do in school. So they invited some people to be simulators, so I was one of them. And I went because they said the recipe was 5,000 naira, the recipe was rice and chicken. So I went particularly for the rice and chicken, and I was just a simulator in the exam. And I saw the way medical students, people that MTCN exams for people that studied outside Nigeria, not the Nigerian license. So I saw the way they were acting in the exam hall. It was funny to me somehow. But I thought it was just my station. So after we finished the exam, a lot of people were talking about it, and I said it was like a general issue, like they all experienced it in their various stations. So I was like, okay, I can make a content out of it. So I just made the video. But when I made the video, I didn't like the video. I was like, people cannot relate to this. It felt like it was something that was personal to me, or just something that relate to it and all that. So I didn't want to put the video one friend. So he watched the video to the end, started laughing, just to make me feel good. So he didn't enjoy the content. I was like, what does he think about the video? Then he was like, maybe I should just add soundtracks, just add effects to make the video better. That the idea is good, but the video doesn't seem very interesting. So I was like, alright, no problem. So I added effects then. Because he said the video was not that, or I was feeling down, I didn't want to post the video still. So I showed somebody else, but she now went the video, she now like enjoyed it. And she's not a medical student. She's a medical student, but she was in preclinicals. And she understood the video, she was no problem. So I just posted the video one Sunday evening. With us, I shared it to our group, the class group. So people in my class were reposting it as expected because most of them were in the exam, so they could relate. So I didn't check Twitter, I didn't check Instagram or TikTok, but I just posted it everywhere. But I was focused on WhatsApp, like my target audience. So I was happy, I was fulfilled that people were reposting the videos and everything. So it was like the next day, I just checked Twitter, I checked Instagram, so that the video was actually going viral. And people could relate to it. And it was just like, that was how I just said, oh, medical content. Then I made another video then, but that was not medical content, so that one did not do very well. Then I made another medical content, and that was how I started making medical content for them. So the genesis of Dr. Akinbili now came in severally after that and all that. So, like I said, you don't need to, if you want to do something, someone once said something, do what you love, and you never work again in your life. So it might feel like, people say, how do you combine med school and content creation and all that? So because firstly, it's because I love what I do. Steve Jobs said something, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So, because I enjoy creating content, it doesn't really seem like work for me. It's something I just do for fun, so I just like pick up my phone, make my content. I don't like take my, yes, it can be very stressful sometimes, but you have to go to clinics, you have to meet up with a lot of activities in school and all that. But it's very important that regardless of what you want to do, content creation is very wide. You might not just be entertainment, you might want to make vlogs, you might want to make educational videos, you might want to just inspire people, you want to make motivational videos, any type of content you want to create. Or you want to go into music, you want to draw, or whatever. The first thing is that you have to love what you want to do first. So you enjoy doing it, then you just start doing it. Start with what you have, start where you are, the rest will grow with time. I didn't think I would be making content like this when I started. So I just started randomly and I grew with time. So it's very important for you to take note of that. So just, but first you find out that you are very interested in something. So that you tend to watch some things a lot online. You tend to follow some like certain people. You enjoy certain content. I want to create content with you. Stuff like that are things you should first try to do first. Because everybody who wants to start in the space, you would surely have somebody you look up to, somebody that will inspire you to start. The person which inspired you to start, the person that made their label joke. So and then I grew into my own character with time, into my own. So there will be someone that will inspire you first, then you just take the opportunity when it's time. Then one important thing, when I said my story, I posted the video everywhere. So it's important for you to make use of every possible platform. So Instagram, Facebook, regardless of the content you want to make, you might say you want to do vlogs and you want to just post on YouTube. Yes, vlogs are good for YouTube or maybe TikTok. But still try to involve Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Because the first content I made that went viral was on Facebook. surprisingly. Facebook that I opened then because I wanted to use it to talk to our crush and all that. So, but I kept the account and I just kept posting content on it. And one day I just went online and that's why a video went viral. This was even before the medical content part and all that. So it gave me a little bit of push on Facebook. So that's why when I started posting medical content, I could keep posting it because I already had like a little bit of audience there. So make use of every possible platform when you want to start. Then, like I said, you don't need to have too much money to start content creation. You just need your phone and yourself via the content. So, then, but you might require skills, specific skills like editing skills, shooting skills, and all that. And these are things you can learn online. You can make use of it. It's literally available to you as a fingertip. So just go to YouTube, how to edit on InShot or how to edit on CapCut. Regardless of the platform you want to use, the software, whatever, Adobe Premiere Pro also. So just go online, edit your video, learn how to edit, make your content, edit your content, and you're good to go. Then one other thing people say, like I said, combining it in best code. So one other important thing is having a calendar. Like you're not just walking randomly. You made a schedule of what you want to do. So I know that Monday to Friday is for school. Then maybe Saturday or Sundays when I shoot my content. So on Saturday might be maybe if I have an event or something. So just like try and have a timetable for what you want to do, and then keep posting it regardless. So it doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you don't stop moving. So consistency is very key. So just keep posting and all that. So and then it's important for you to monetize your content. I mean, with time, money is a good motivation. The fact that yes, people love your stuff and all that will motivate you, but money is also a very, very strong motivation. So and I don't know if it was Tony Elumelu that said it or Telela. Someone said that it's this business as creating wealth while creating impact at the same time. So as much as you are impacting people, you also have to create wealth for yourself. Because if you don't have that wealth, the fire inside you will actually like go out somehow if you're not creating wealth for yourself actually. So it's important for you to learn how to monetize your content. And Facebook, YouTube is easier to monetize on those platforms. So make use of every possible platform you have. So and if you take homes that I would give you is I've said it before, start where you are, use what you have, create what you know, create with what you know, and the rest will grow with you. Then when you start creating content, you should ignore negative comments. Dr. Shina also said it. People always criticize you. You cannot satisfy everybody. It's impossible. And not everybody will like you. And it's very good that you don't like everybody. So you can't expect everybody to like you. Regardless of how good you think your content is, then you might think of something and think, oh, this is very good, but to others, it might not go so well. It's important to understand your audience, because sometimes what is very good to you is not what to be accepted by other people. So, but regardless, create what you want to do, then ignore negative comments. Focus on the positive, the creative criticism, the positive comments, and all that. So ignore negative comments, then be consistent. So, because you might have your talents, but somebody with consistency would actually do better than you if you have talent and you're not consistent. Because consistency will take you to places where talent alone cannot take you. So yes, you have your talent to start, you have to push, but then you have to be consistent to be able to reach where you're going to. And then I'm going to end this talk with my favorite quote from Steve Jobs. And it says, your work is going to fulfill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you did is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you will know when you find it. Thank you very much.
How do I come up now? I'm a bit lost, yeah? But I will try. So let's stand up. Right? Let's give him a special way of saying thank you. I know you are tired, but please, just be with me for the sake of this 2 days. Don't worry, when you get back to Ife, Delta, wherever you came from, you always remember there was this guy that taught you how to clap like this, that always made it mandatory for you to stand up after every session. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we say thank you, Easy? All right, you can have a seat. Thank you so much. All right, so we're having the panel session now. Please beg the ushers to please arrange the chairs there. Right, so we're having a wonderful set of panelists, right? And they are young people doing amazing things in the world of advocacy. And I believe it will be a very good opportunity to gain from their wealth of experience. So please, can I have the ushers get the chairs up stage, please? We have two there, we have two here, please. Let's be fast with that. Thank you. All right, so we have 3 panelists, right? The first person that we'll be bringing up on stage is no other person than our national president for Youth Society. I always call her Madam President. Please let me have the side note. It's immediately after the conference on Saturday night. Please, just walk up to Sumi and please squeeze some dollar into her hands. The pressure she's doing to, organize something or be at the forefront of something is never easy. Can we celebrate our national president, please? All right. The next person I'll be bringing off stage, she's, sorry. I wanted to say Dr. Bush before your name, right? I've been hearing that name actually, but I just did not know who the face behind that name is. So it's such a pleasure seeing him physically for the first time today. So can we please make welcome Dr. Wise? I think it's about to become a doctor. I don't have that but it's coming to my youth first. And it gives such an honor to also be my very good brother. And thank you so much for yesterday. Please help me say thank you to Kobe. Sorry. Please. Alright, before I bring him up, because we all need to thank you. That's why. Please help me to say thank you, Covenant or Dedele. Thank you, Covenant. Oh, please, if you know what he did, you will say it better than that. Please help me say thank you. We are not let me say, we are all saying it together. Thank you, Covenant or Dedele. Thank you, Covenant. So it's such an honor to bring Covenant up to you. Covenant is a very good brother. And thank you so much for all this coming. How do you celebrate the brother? Alright. And the person that will be moderating this panel, I just met him yesterday physically for the very first time, and he's been a wonderful person. As well as an fellow and also the president of the Youth Society here in the UI. Please make welcome to my lecture.
All right, good evening, delegates all together. Good afternoon, delegates all together. Good afternoon, delegates. Yeah, look at that video. Are we tired? Yeah, tired. Well, we just finished now. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Now we are going to be starting the panel session, and very much honored to be amongst these very distinguished individuals. From Covenant, the president of the Student Union, and a very person that is so much admired by the years, that is passionate about student leadership, students empowerment, and student growth in total. I really appreciate you. Down to the president of the Youth Society, national president of the Youth Society here. Please, can we get a for that? So she has actually been into a lot of things. I mean, a lot of programs, a lot of planning and all, well over. All right, and down to Dr. Bush here. I'm actually very curious as to where the Bush comes from. All right, so but I've actually read a little bit about him for this conference, and I actually appreciate what he's been doing so far in OAU. Please let's Alright, so thank you very much. So, like I said, my name is Wale Shaw, actually today. Don't worry, if you want tutorials on my name, meet me after the conference. So, this afternoon, I'm going to be discussing about something which I feel is actually very paramount. What's the thing for you next again? What's the catchphrase? Can we chorus it together, please? Bold moves, big impact. Bold moves, big impact. So, and also hinging on this is what we'll be discussing about, which is centered around youth voices in health advocacy. youth voices in the health campus. We are all youths here, and of course, one of those major things that we are doing in Nexus is for us to better know how to navigate our advocacy, know how to do it well, who are we reaching to, the challenges that perhaps we might be facing. And I can tell you that this panel, this list of panelists are experienced and well enough to give us full information on that. So on that, my first question will be going to our national president here, Sumi. So I know that you've had a lot of experiences with advocacy and with young people advocating for something, championing something. So from your experience, I want you to just enlighten us. What role can young advocates play in shaping national health campaigns? And how do we amplify those voices beyond social media?
Thank you very much for that question, and thank you once again for having me here. So that's a very interesting question. And I would say, first of all, we must understand that as young people, we are very unique, and we have a lot of knowledge, like we have access to information that previously a lot of people didn't get the opportunity to have as much knowledge that we have. And we're also in this social media age. You know, yesterday during the radio station, someone highlighted something that I think WHO said in Africa, we have almost 60% population of young people. I mean, so first of all, we have to understand we as young people, like the uniqueness we actually bring to advocacy, the uniqueness we bring to, you know, the discussions around health equity. So now your question on, okay, what roles, what can we do as young people? First of all, you have to realize that you are unique. Then aside that, you need to understand, I would say understand, aside that, you also need to be able to humanize what is going on in our environment. Why am I saying humanize it? Every day we see people die. Every day we see evidence of health disparities around us. We see evidence of things that point us to the fact that we can always do better. We can humanize it for telling stories. You know, storytelling is something, at least recently has given us an instance. It has a way of connecting people together. So you know, when you can tell stories about it, when you can humanize it, I mean, don't let us see it as normal, because, you know, let me give an instance. Some of us here, we are medical students, and we are used to seeing patients. But just imagine one day, it's your sister that is that patient. And I had that wake-up call, for instance, years ago, when I had a family member who was that patient. So we can humanize it, talk about it on social media, turn the problems around us into stories that, you know, people can relate to, and policy level to research, to help people really relate challenges that we have. That's my answer for that question.
Thank you very much. Speaks on uniqueness. I think that's mindset. I think that's knowledge of being open, being aware of what's actually happening around us, and how we can contribute to it. You know, seeing problems, just like Dr. Piley said, seeing those problems and actually thinking about how we can interfere. Now, on that, my second question goes to Dr. Bush. You know, as I know that you are very much personalized hinge on very representative and all. So, for as representatives of young people on campus, apart from getting this uniqueness, having understood that you have to be unique, and also seeing all of these problems, how can student union also ensure that all of these voices are not just heard, but actually influence health policies and programs?
Again, please.
Okay, now, after understanding our uniqueness and seeing all of these problems, seeing where we can intervene, now, how can student unions ensure that these voices that we are saying, are not just heard, but we can actually influence our policies and our programs?
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad to have such kind of question. Yes, I think this will boil down to advocacy. I think what we're basically talking about is advocating. And I see advocacy as a connecting problem with solutions to higher authority, especially for people who probably do not have the voices to get to that. Now, I think to achieve that, to ensure that what we are clamoring for is being implemented. Now, there is the formal aspect of it and there is the informal aspect of it. Now, The formal aspect of it, I honestly think is just for something to be documented. What actually achieves it is the informal aspect of it. Now, how do I mean? I don't. Maybe that's how it works for me, or that's how it has worked for me.
Are we learning?
You get that? I'm talking from my own experience now. Now, the formal aspect of it, okay, we want this, maybe concerning health, concerning maybe transportation on campus, something there's something that people want. You get now, of course, the people have to want it first. And so once the people want it, yes, you want to document it. In the health center, we need 5 beds, we need this. Students don't like the way they are being treated. They don't like how bike men. You document it, evidence-based. You want to put some data. You know, there should be a record. You present it to them. If you want to go through the formal part to get it implemented, you would have left office after 10 years. Do you get now? So you may eventually not have it done. So what we do, you know, of course, you have a personal rapport with the vice chancellor, people who are close to the vice chancellor, people that if they speak with the vice chancellor, the vice chancellor may not be the vice chancellor.
Are we getting that?
Do you get now? The vice chancellor is just the vice chancellor. There are vice chancellors.
There are vice chancellors.
You get so if your connection with the vice chancellor directly is not helping, you go to these people. Of course, you have submitted what you want, maybe through the dean of DSA, maybe through whatever. In fact, I discovered that when I wrote a letter through the dean to the VC, and after a week later, I went to just casually visit the DSA, and I still saw the letter on the table. Oh shit, man! I just know that letter does not work. Nah. Because all of these things you have to be persuasive. You have to be first patient and then persuasive. Then you need to be on their neck constantly. Okay, we need this thing done. Okay, I remember when I first wrote a letter, a proposal to that we need tricycles to start working on campus. Especially with the fact that bike men are extorting bus drivers, they are misbehaving. You know, the response I got then was that the blueprints from the onset that they never planned that tricycles will work on campus. All this paperwork, I wanted to reply, unannounced, I went to the VC's office. Of course, you will not see the one of this. You cannot change paper, unless we will give you problem. You know, we are from the Jerusalem Valuta. So yes, I made him serious. I spoke to him one-on-one. These people are extorting us, having tricycles function like this, you know. I dropped reasonable fact why we needed that on campus. He said he was going to look into it. I went to meet the new DVC admin. Then he was the chairman security committee. He's a very, very close person to the vice chancellor. I spoke to him that we need this thing on campus, blah, blah. It took me a whole lot before they eventually agreed tricycles would be allowed to work on campus. And then they said if I have any means, I started working. We started the fundraising project for bringing on tricycles. That was not even the main plan. And then somehow I met somebody who connected me with how I could facilitate this federal government CNG something on campus. And now we have tricycles, although they are not working yet. I think by next session or so, thereabouts. But they are not tricycles. So that was just because I was persuasive. Outside all this, want to go out and protest, petition, and all that, you need to be persuasive. And being persuasive is not writing letters upon letters. It's using the proper connections that you have. You have to lobby. That was lobby.
Thank you very much, Dr. So I think one thing I can get from what you said is meeting the right people, right? Meeting the right people, collecting the right person, having the right connection, and also being persuasive. Making them see what you are saying, making them feel what you are feeling, so that you begin to understand the urgency of what you are looking for. Thank you very much, Dr. Bush, for that experience. So, back to my questions. From all of this, from a leadership perspective, most of us are leaders somewhere, advocating for something. Now, what leadership programs, what leadership skills do students need to have credible voices when advocating for all of these things, especially when engaging with policy makers? I mean, what are those leadership skills that need to credible and from all of these I was talking about?
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I think I'll just build on Bush has said a couple of things that I'll just lay on. So when it comes to, because all that talking about is advocacy, actually, that's the major basic point. And one thing I've realized is that when you get to certain levels, you would realize that most of the things that delays the success of most projects, it's not that probably there are no resources or there is no funding, there are mostly personality issues. Right? So you would not say that in a system that is normal, when you have a challenge, you're supposed to write a letter, am I correct? And then the letter is supposed to pass through, let's say, 3 levels. Let's even give administrative bureaucracy now in Nigeria, that letters will have to pass through like 10 levels before things get done. That's fine. But the next thing that it has to pass through these levels. What delays most of these issues? It's not that there is no resource persons, or there are no resource persons, or there is no money, or there is no solution. It's just personality issues. Some people are genuinely not interested. Some people are genuinely not serious with their work. Some people are genuinely just, slack. All of these things. This is the problem. So how can we navigate all these challenges to solve the problem in the shortest possible time? Because you talk about policy making, I would say that firstly, we need very good data and, should I say, collation skills. I'll use that word. You have to know what the problem is. You have to be able to present it with facts. Gather data, what exactly is, because there was something about you mentioning the effect. It's not so different everywhere. When you do why, you have to logical. Yes, you have to come with your facts. You cannot, because you are interacting with, of course, smart people, so you match each other. Apart from the fact that, of course, you have to be very good of convincing, but your data has to be well and solid. So if you are telling me that if you don't extend the school fees, the deadline for school fees by so time, so number of students will not be in school, and this is the implication, and this is what it will cost, and these are the ripple effects and all that. So you have to have very strong data to back up whatever you do. That's one. Secondly is, like I said, you have to know how to lobby, right? And that's the thing that works in the House of Assembly as well. If there's any bill that you want to pass, even anyway, if you want to convince all of you now, and we are supposed to meet by 3 p.m., right? I need to have done my own meeting first before 3 p.m. with some people here. So that when we now come to the business, trying to be subject to things like voting and show of hands and all that, I would have spoken with this person, please, on this issue, because we want to be. Please say yes, please say yes. Everybody will see. I have had my pre-meeting with key stakeholders, identify the stakeholders that matter, people that have the influence over certain things, people that their commitment, their influence to make something work. You have to, when you then know them, it makes it easy for you to speak to them, convince them, such that in a setting, for example, when you want, for those that know, the student union in UI was scrapped in 2017 at some point, and then it was restored finally in 2020. So in 2021, they wanted to bring it back. That's taking a lot of lobbying. The game was telling me that they had to lobby and if not the Senate, they had to speak to people such that by the time you vote, there is eyes that you get what I'm trying to say. That is how we can effectively influence policy. And lastly, I will give this example. Because of course, I know this story going online recently, a doctor that died recently because of extended work hours. How many of us have seen that story? Exactly. Now, you will ask that what exactly is the problem in regulating the policy making of work hours in the health system? For example, let's say everybody should work for 8 hours. Let's just say, for instance, no matter how bad it is, we don't have doctors in Nigeria, but 8 hours is fine for us to work. So we can do a data analysis. This is where all these skills, so I'm sort of mentioning skills, data analysis, finding the facts, and then logging and all that. So let's try to figure out how many doctors do we have in Nigeria. Let's say 20,000. How many hospitals do we have? Let's say 10. What's the current capacity of the patients in Nigeria? Averagely per month, let's say 100,000. When you then do the math, then means that each doctor, for instance, I'm just saying, would have to work for 12 hours, am I correct? to effectively cater for so number of patients. So in that regard, what do we do? To avoid burnout for doctors in some understaffed places, to avoid all these issues, let us effectively put a policy in place that, okay, because of this, each doctor should work for 10 hours, so that we will not have recurrent issues of doctors dying from burnout. How then do we get this to National Assembly? Get people that, there are no ways we can, get involved in policy, for those that don't know. For instance, in 2023, there was a competition, it was Nigeria Policy Hackathon. At that time, the student loan nail that we have now was not yet in place. So the track I participated in, we won the competition then, was under student loan bill. And then we were supposed to, we had the first draft of the policy then, okay, this is what they think they want to do, and all of that. And then because it was, you guys should make recommendations to it, you guys should come up with better ideas and all of that. And then we did it, we won the competition and they were able to present it at the Nigerian Senate. Part of what we pushed them was to like be interest free, which it is now. I hope it doesn't stop being that. Part of what we pushed, in fact, we pushed our private school students to be part of it. They didn't completely agree there. So we can influence policy by picking up opportunities and all of this. But the most important thing is that after we said and done, is the fact that identify the people in power who can get it, to work, who can get through their votes, their influence, and make it work is the most important part of the structure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. So from what you can see that give a very, very good example of getting data, getting data, and that's exactly what I can say I've gotten from everyone that I've talked so far. Getting data, getting facts, getting something that is backing up what we are saying. That we're not just talking from emotions, we're not just talking from what happened to us, but we are having something to back it up. And so that we are presenting it for relevant bodies, stakeholders, policymakers, you will see the sense in what we are trying to bring, and not just that we are just pushing something forward. I'm not just pushing something forward. So, my question will go back to Prominent. So, you talked about very good things, but I just wanted to ask, how can leadership programs, what leadership programs can actually empower students? To not just talk about equity, but the fact that they can also design inclusive initiatives and can reduce these disparities. The fact that we're not just talking about it, but we're actually doing something. What are those things that student leaders can actually do to augment this space?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll very fast. I think that from my experience in social impact, even before I'm coming in this position, one thing I realized with organizing programs or events for students is that most people do not ask people what they need. Right? Most people don't really engage with the people. For example, if I want to buy food and I assume that everybody here is going to be vegetarian, I just want vegetables and all of that, I can be almost sure. How many vegetarians are there? Full vegetarians? You. How many vegetarians? Okay, can you imagine? Can I imagine I come here with, package for everybody as to be all vegetarians? Did I achieve the purpose? But for me, I would say that I bought food now, I invested money, I invested time and resources and all that. So I think the first challenge that I realized is that when healthcare or anybody that is trying to solve a problem in this context, healthcare should first of all understand the scope, the nature, the people involved. That's critical important. You design with the end user in mind. There's a common story that they tell for those that maybe are very conversant with that story when it comes with problem solving skills and designing solutions for people. In a village, they had a problem of open defecation. We all know open defecation. I think Nigeria is trying to be top 5 or so of countries that are engaged in open defecation. So they did, so they get that problem in that village in Nigeria. And then the guys that wanted to solve the problem, great initiative and they are interested in something. They just came and what did they do? Just build a modern toilet, modern facility, with WC and all of that, flushing, what do they call that? Open roof flushing. Very state-of-the-art toilet facility for them in that village. Now, you would assume that the problem is that people don't have toilets, am I correct? And then that's why they use the open defecation. But with the construction of that, they still continued to engage in open defecation. So that means building the WC, the water closet was where we didn't solve the problem. You would think they would, but it didn't. Why? Because they didn't engage the people that would use that product or that service, right? So it was after they engaged with their leaders, right? Hey, have you asked them why is there authentication? The average human being has human dignity. You can't just complicate, So if they've been doing it, why do they do it? Then they realize it's very comfortable for them. They don't prefer flushing. They just prefer. So the best thing they could have done was just build a pit latrine. That would even save more money. Am I correct? Or cost less compared to building, something like that. So usually, when you want to do something, when you want to design a program, if you're someone that is in, maybe design project management or designing curriculum for stuff, as much as possible, gather data. What do you want? Some people prefer, things to go in certain ways and, in certain ways, right? That would really help in making sure that the curriculum, the learning outcomes will suit the people, right? The way you write consistently in UI, it's not the same as you write in other schools. You know what I'm trying to say. Different things work for different places. That's the most important thing. And then secondly, as much as possible, it's both ends anyway. It's feedback before and after. When people use a service, a product or an idea or something, please get feedback from them. Even after this event, I know there's going to be a feedback system. How did you learn? What's been done better? What could be improved? That is very, very important. Those things, I think, are the very important strengths of terms of effective leadership development. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful reply. Student-centered innovation, student-centered audience-centered innovation. So my next question, please let's try to keep our responses more brief because time. So my next question is to Dr. Bush. I just wanted to ask you, and so that I can learn from it. If you eventually have a chance to actually redesign the university health system, we over time see that the university health system is not actually contributing to health security as much as it should. So, eventually, if you had a chance to contribute or to develop an innovative solution, I can design the university health system. What student-centered innovation would you actually prioritize?
How do I get to answer this?
All right,
okay, thank you very much. Here's the thing. Whether the health center of the school or the health center in the country, everything is bad. It's not to right? Yes. Well, I don't know, because I like to be practical. I don't know how to start. It's one thing to just answer the question because I want to answer it. It's one thing to say something that is practical. Well, I'll just try to, of course, answer it. Like you mentioned, something that is innovation that is student-centered. Well, as it stands now, or as it is right now, the world is going digital. The world is going digital. Of course, we now have tech innovations that are helping the health sector. You get it now. So, if the health center of the school can be like, there's times to go to the health center, it is crowded. You get it is crowded. Whether this one has registered or being a member or not, you get whether this person has already registered, they want to sort out this specified, they don't want to sort out this specified. Things are going digital now, you get it now. So maybe you may necessarily not have to come with your health center card, so that when you come, there is already a system that, okay, what's your name or what department are you from? They can just repeat it, innovating all of this. Or you can even book appointment with, or book with the doctor online. You get what I'm saying now? Bringing tech innovations into that way. You know that okay, if you go there by 10 a.m. you'll be answered. If you go there by, you get it now. So probably there is a schedule for the health center to effectively run. Not that everybody is going there maybe all at once and all of that. I think that's probably one of the things that I'll be able to mention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bush. So thank you very much. So the last question is actually to Sumi. So concerning Dr. Bush's question, I think it's still a growing concern that still needs more innovation. I think for students in UI, and I talk about Jada is, I don't know, I think Jada is doing better. They've been a little bit more proactive concerning these things and paying more attention to to these things, but I still feel there is still a growing concern that students still need to develop more innovation concerning to make this thing better. Because start from now is the solutions that work here and we can now upscale to the national level. So very brief. So this is the last question. The difficulties that we see, most of the time, it's often mirror more deeper issues. It's actually like more deeper issues. Most of the time, there are more deeper issues that are actually going on. So as LGBT advocates, how can we not only pay attention to what you are saying, but actually like look at from the roots, like picking it from the roots, and not just tackling the surface and leaving what is the root of the problem exactly?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll try to be brief. So, I'll say the main thing, first of all, is getting knowledge. And to get knowledge, you have to attend conferences like this. This is one way, empower yourself. We have more access to information than before. I was in a program recently, and the person said that in those days, I think people might agree, let's set up a business. To do that, you have to go to the sales center, go and read books. And I'm like, this is something you can just sit down and check up on your phone. So most times we see the surface level of health disparities and all, but I don't be interested enough to like check, read up, okay, why is this like this? Why? There's a recent issue on Twitter that people were arguing, even Nigerian doctors, that can they put villages in primary health care centers, or do we have to still do the whole tertiary center? There was one young medical student arguing the consultant. I noticed Twitter now, you be dragging your mate and everything, but let's not go there. The point is, there are a lot of things. As a medical student, the higher I go, anytime I hear things like that, I just realize that there's a lot to still find out. So I would just encourage you that if you are passionate about this, and you don't even have to be passionate, just get knowledge. Because the difference between you and someone talking on the streets should be that you have knowledge based on what you are seeing, based on what is practicable, based on what research has said. Just get knowledge. That's just the one answer I want to say. If you are here, get knowledge, ask questions, engage with what you have been told. That's another thing. Because sometimes it's when you begin to ask those questions, those seemingly stupid questions, and sometimes questions are like problems around you. Okay, why is this like this? Why is this not like this? That's when you be forced to think that, okay, what is that? Let's find out. Can we find changes around it? So I feel to address the root of certain issues that we have, we need to get knowledge, and that's the main reason why we are here. And even beyond here, just ensure that you get knowledge and keep adding to yourself.
Thank you very much. So please don't give me a round of applause. Knowledge is what academics also do. So please can we give a very much round of applause to our speakers. The academics are for the opportunity. Please, do you have any questions from the audience?
Just two.
Any questions from the audience or questions for Etinzi?
Session to ask questions if you have any questions for Etinzi. Anybody who has spoken after the break?
Can you please come forward? All right, please, let's ask questions. All right, probably while we're waiting, please let's take some photographs, please.
Thank you very much.
So much. Round of applause for the panelists, please. If you know you've learned a lot today, please a round of applause. today and you really learned a lot. A round of applause. Thank you so much. So can someone remind me of the thing again? I like the way you guys are bold moves, but you guys are very shy. Why should I shy? Can someone remind me again? Yes, thank you very much. So we've had amazing speakers here today. I came to talk about the theme. The topic was centered around the theme, right? So we have another speaker here that embodies the theme, bold move, big impact. So our next speaker believes that advocacy must go beyond awareness to drive systemic change. Once again, bold move, big impact. So she is a physiotherapist and also a passionate health advocate. She is the director of community impact at the Slum and Rural Health Initiative, and she's an African Oxford scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, please let's make welcome Miss Mary. Thank you so much. With a standing ovation, please.
Hello everybody, good afternoon. I know that everybody has been here since morning, so I might not relate to the stress level where I'm just empathize with it. So I'll try as much as possible to be fast with the discussion. I think looking at the discussions that we've had so far, we've been discussing advocacy, we've been discussing social impact, we've been discussing systemic change. So I'm not going to bore you too much with what advocacy is. I'll sort of be leading into like my own experiences and pass the baton to you. So the goal at the end of this discussion is for us to think. We're asking questions and to be able to even ask more questions from ourselves and to feel like we need to develop the skills to be able to answer these questions. So there are a lot of questions. So yeah, please, next slide. Right, so the focus is they're counting on us, literally. Everybody's counting on us. Your friends are counting on you, your family members are counting on you, the entire state is counting on you, the country is counting on you, even if many of us are pretty sure project by airports. The country is counting on you, the continent, the African continent is counting on you. And depending on where you are right now, I'm so certain that you know a 17-year-old, right? You know a 17-year-old somebody, we were once 17 at one point. And for many 17-year-olds right now, not everybody has the same access to resources or the same access to certain opportunities that can really inform their lives. For me, I have seen a 17-year-old girl, fall sick in that period as well, while she was actually pregnant as well, right? And this person is in a remote community, not able to access the right healthcare services that they need. And you have another 17-year-old that maybe stays in a much more accessible area and was also in that situation of teenage pregnancy, but has access to better opportunities to access healthcare. And apart from 17-year-olds, you have other people like this situation, right? But my point is, there's so many young people that have different experiences but do not have the right access to it, right? So this is why it's especially important for us as young people to advocate for other young people. And the reason why I use this example is, we're talking about designing healthcare solutions, and we understand that when you want to design solutions, you have to design them to fit. If I'm designing a solution for people that are living in northern Nigeria and have never been to northern Nigeria, I don't understand the context, I don't understand the language, I don't understand the culture, and I'm coming there with what's the most fascinating app these days? A healthcare app, and I'm just coming there and saying, oh, I want to bridge the gap, technology is a new thing, innovation, let's get that checked in. people are not going to use it. And in many ways, if you're coming even with like a regular education campaign and you're just coming in English and you're hoping to say, I'm going to change the world, like cholera is this, malaria is this, nobody's going to listen to you, right? So having all of this context really matters. So same thing, right, when you're designing solutions for young people, it's best and it helps a lot if you're also a young people, a young person rather leading that change. And I think that that's really the point of this conversation, is to see that we have enough right now, but it's people that also put their voices out, but we don't. We don't have a lot of young people really speaking about adolescent health. We don't have a lot of young people speaking about the other challenges, like, you know, fellow people like yourself, like ourselves, but yeah, fellow people really go through, right? Which is why, once again, the point of this conversation is to pass the baton. I'm going to try to bring this up from my phone because I think there's something wrong with it. But yeah, other people, and I was going to say, who has watched Interstellar? Okay, 1%, 2, 3. Great. So basically, it's like this fun sci-fi movie where you do like time travel and all of this cool stuff. People that like physics are obsessed with it, right? Well, the whole point was that someone did obviously time travel and sort of influence like the future, right, in a different way. And I just want us to imagine, once again, the picture isn't all, but it's a tesseract. And you can sort of like step in and talk to yourself somehow, or talk to someone in the past somehow and tell them, if I had known 10 years from now that the world is going to really neglect over young people, you know, you should do this so that it doesn't happen. So that's what's happened. So you're just reminding that we're in that time travel situation, right? So, first question is to ask yourself that if you did nothing right now, we've listened to amazing conversations, we've listened to the panel session, we've listened to people discuss their innovative ways in their making advocacy, but you leave this place and you do nothing. You're just like, it's been a great time, I'm just chatting with people, I've loved it, I've made friends. What happens is that inequity still exists. There's somebody somewhere, and this is literal. There's somebody somewhere in maybe a village, maybe in your community right now that just needs you to just speak up and say, do you know this is, or can you ask, or asking questions really. And what you do if you do nothing is that this inequity persists and people are still left behind. But if you do something, it's like a cascade of reactions, right? Like, it can go from you speaking to a child, the child speaking to a mother, the mother really influencing the family sort of speaking up for the community speaking up for their state. Next thing you're knowing, the nation is changing, and that's like the discussions like the policy changing, like what we were discussing before. So the point is, please speak up in every single way. If that's from sheer frustration of the situation, the healthcare situation, if that's from really just your curiosity and asking questions, like it's best to always do that. Right, so why can't equity wait? So just to paint like a picture of the situation now is, and I will really influence maternal mortality because just especially that's a very personal and also professional interest of mine about the well-being of mothers and the well-being of children, and especially as well people in general, like how they're able to function in life, right? So we have maternal mortality, and in Nigeria we still have like the highest, indices of that in sub-Saharan Africa. Then when you also look at the healthcare coverage in Nigeria, it is particularly low. Then we also have chronic workforce gap. We have a lot of people that need healthcare, and due to many factors that we can't start going into, we have a large, kind of like a shortage really of healthcare professionals that are able to take care of these people. So which means that there's a data that says about 100 million people will never see a healthcare worker, and that's the truth. it, right? But they've not been able to, or because of so many reasons, they all that. Which means that the closest people they are is their friends. And if their friends are mindset, everybody is just moving in that way. And also, another interesting thing to know as a young person is that by 2035, according to the World Economic Forum, it says that we'll have more Africans enter into the workforce each year than the rest of the world. And I think that's the situation right now, is that we have a lot of young people. So there is a challenge, but there's also an opportunity, right? The challenge is that we have a lot of young people that are susceptible to healthcare issues, but we also have a lot of young people, a lot of bright people like yourself that can really hold on to that mission of closing this gap and really speak up to drive global health equity. Now, what's your power and responsibility? So advocacy, again, not to repeat, a lot of the things on the panel, a lot of things they said, it's kind of like they looked into the slide and really said a lot of things, right? Is that advocacy is a strategy. So how you do advocacy as well can be very different, but there is a power and a responsibility that comes with advocacy, and it means that you need to sort of policy influence. It can mean evidence and storytelling, and we've had people do that. Your student leaders come in, they've been driving that, they've been change in their community, and they've also been speaking up and driving policy change. I remember Covenant was talking about a policy that contributed to that now impacted a lot of young students across Nigeria. Then you have community mobilization, and I think that's interestingly what a lot of people think when they hear advocacy. They're thinking, we're going to the community and then speaking to somebody and the ballet will speak to the people in their community and sort of pass that baton. I mean, it's part of it, and it's a very big part. It's honestly a very big part of it, right? Then we have evidence and storytelling. So that's with our data people, the research people that are taking evidence and then using it to drive policy. Then I can see our media team raising up their hands. Storytelling is a very big part. The communications team, especially in this day and age, where the information that you can have, majority of things you can get in the palm of your fingers. You can literally get the palm of your hands, rather. So it's very important as well to find where do I fit in. You don't have to be in one place, at the same time too, necessarily, it's best for you to sort of own your skill in that sector, right? So you can find your place in policy influence, you can find your place in community mobilization, you can find your place in evidence research sector, you can find your place in communication. So if you have 3 heads or 4 heads, you can do everything together, right? So that's the beauty of this work. So basically, what are the tools for the next decade? I'll say the one tool you need is yourself. You can start from yourself. And opportunities help, having access to certain opportunities that can just amplify your voice helps. But if you remove yourself out of the situation, especially in influencing issues that surround young people, that's where you miss it, right? So we need young people to design. So I think things are changing, right? I used to see a lot of colleagues, our lecturers, design policies, and you don't have young people in that team. That's wrong. And that's why there's a lot of pushback, because the level of it is not there, right? So that's why we need a lot of young people really designing their solutions and then projecting that forward. Right? We also need to, even in our own spaces, things like these advice reports can come in a particular sector for a particular healthcare issue, or it can even happen right here, right? The Ill Fellowship and the Ill Society, it's basically a form of youth advisory sort of setup, right? Where you have the UI team, you have the OA team, you have there and there, right? Everybody coming together, to discuss a particular healthcare problem and then to make that change. Right. Another thing is, again, back to research. We need people to actually measure youth outcomes. I've noticed that, and again, that's also something I'm interested in, is how person-centered outcomes, how people actually function with this healthcare metrics we're using, right? So if there's a lot of data on malaria and the evidence of that, but really, how does that link to young people? Is there a sort of like disaggregated data? How can you contribute to actually building this database as well? Again, back to the panel session, I remember there's something someone mentioned, I can't remember who. The person said that we don't have a lot of data that are very specific and are quite nuanced. And that's something we need to build. Like, if there's a lot of data, you need to ask the question, is there something for young people? If not, that's an opportunity. That's a gap to fill, right? And it should matter to you because it's your life, it's your experiences, and it's your situation. And whatever it is that you contribute will sort of make that change. Another tool is technology, right? There's the AI buzz right now. How many people use ChatGPT? I can see some people that are not raising their hands there. That's good to know. Right, so the beautiful thing about AI and a lot of technology tools is that they're really tools. Really, that's at least that's my opinion about it, right? There's so many talking about AI, taking over itself, but at the end of the day, we need to center the fact that we are tools. Again, for a lot of young people that will be coming after us, this is the one thing they will be exposed to. For many of us, we're really exposed to, many of us are actually exposed to the internet. Google was like the best thing. Like now is, if someone asks you a question, like, oh, can't you ask Google? Now people are saying, can't you ask ChatGPT? Now a lot of young people start saying, can't you ask what other AI tools like that, Claude, all this other words, right? So it's a responsibility to be able to understand this tool, not necessarily accept in the sense that you don't challenge the feedback that it gives, but for you to be able to understand it so that people are protected when it comes to their health, right? The AI is still developing and everything, and if it starts providing wrong information, it means that everybody is in danger, right? So again, this is another tool, another space that we can really explore advocacy, right? So research, back again to research, right? Again, there is no advocacy without evidence. If I am doing advocacy in a place for malaria, in a place where they've not had malaria in 2 years, I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my resources, I'm wasting my energy, there's no point, right? So you need to collect data, you need to immerse yourself in data. That's why I also mentioned that you don't necessarily need to separate all of this, everything together. So it means that you can leverage technology, skills and the data, everything together to be able to. So there's a basic evaluation thing that you have as well when it comes to like a project or whatever advocacy campaign you're leading or solutions that you're building, right? Is you need to test to see if it works, you need to measure it, you need to find, when you measure it and maybe there's something wrong, you need to adapt it. If it works, you can think of scaling it, right? But again, it sort of still goes back again. When you scale again, you test, you measure, you adapt, and continue to scale. So no two solutions can be the same, even if they are addressing the same issues, right? So it has to be adapted to that situation. I've been talking a lot about how you don't necessarily need to do one thing without, you don't necessarily need to separate things. So we have the cross-sector alliances. So what this means that you can, as a healthcare professional, which I'm guessing a lot of people are sort of in school for right now, a lot of people here, or even if you're not in healthcare, if you're in finance, or you're in another sector, the arts, right, you can combine all of these things together. The healthcare sector needs people that that have knowledge in finance, people that have knowledge in engineering. All of these things affect the way we live and also affect like, our health outcomes. So I also encourage you to collaborate with a lot of your colleagues, not necessarily people. In fact, I would encourage you to collaborate with people that are not like you, people that have a different background, because you're able to combine different experiences and you're also able to design solutions that you might have never thought about if you're done it alone. Also, and I think this one is really about, well, I guess it's the wrong audience, but if you're working on a tech solution and you're building a business, please don't exclude that from like healthcare. And again, just in the future as well, is to note that the private sector really matters when it comes to healthcare. Not just in like a private healthcare hospital or anything in the private sector really matters when it comes to healthcare. And it's very essential for us to know this to be able to drive advocacy. And finally, this sector is sustainability. I was enjoying I don't know if it was a debate, the breakout session, and we're discussing different solutions. And sort of like took me back to a game that some of my colleagues at work did. It was a debate. We're discussing direct medical interventions versus institutional facilities and which one is better, which one should funders really claim to. Right? And one thing I noticed is I don't think so many people talked about like the sustainability side of the solutions. And I think that part carries a lot of weight when it comes to the resources that you need for your advocacy. When you're designing solutions, you want to be sure that whatever it is that you're doing has the potential to be sustainable. Because if I'm going to be carrying a device to a remote center that maybe quite possibly they can learn to use, if it stops working, that's it. Like, who's going to replace it again? If they even replace it, it means I will keep spending money every time it gets false, right? So start thinking of what other things can we do to ensure that if a particular factor leaves, people are still able to access the healthcare that they need. Right, so that can come down to budgets, that can come back down again to research and designing solutions that can basically last the test of time. Right, so quickly to see what I've used, just reflecting on that. One of the projects, I think that the thing that we do a lot at Slum Health Initiative is maternal and child health initiatives, but at the same time to a lot of work on young people. We have a large project on mental health care, and again, this is really reflecting that a lot of young people are more susceptible to this issue, and you don't have a lot of solutions in this space. That's why I said that we have so many people, but so many people, just few people who are actually trying to solve this problem, right? And that's what one of the things that we're doing at Slum Health Initiative is to be able to combine our own experiences as young people. We work with a lot of young people, many were in the room, but at the same time too, we work with communities, right? So if a young person is in a particular community, we are not doing that in isolation. We are moving to the community to understand what the problems are, to design that solution with them, and then to be able to implement and evaluate and do it all over again. So basically, I think that's really what the advocacy really falls on, is that you're able to create awareness in different ways. You're able to use different tools, if that's technology, if that's research, if that's communication. You're able to use all of those things to amplify the voices, to be able to give evidence to your change. But more importantly, is to be able to have yourself at the center of this and to be able to speak up for the voices of other young people. Now, I was speaking on, and I think this is just passing it on to you, and say in 2035, and I want one to two people to sort of like answer this. I don't know if you thought about this, or maybe this is the opportunity to do that. What is one healthcare right that every young person that is African maybe should have? Who wants to just take like the agency to answer that? If you've thought about it before, what's the one thing in the next 10 years that you'd like every young African in healthcare? Because I know we'll think of money, but like in healthcare, right? So what is like the one right that you'd like us to have? I'm sort of going to this one I'm looking at there. Yes, you. Then for the other team in orange. There's only one person in orange at the end there. Yeah. Alright, in beige. Yeah, you can change this people. Do you think? And I'm asking questions because I want us, that's what advocacy is doing, and you ask questions and you ask questions. Do you think we currently struggle with that? Okay.
If there's a way for maybe each workforce, informal workforce, informal business, have ability to register and have access to those infrastructure. I think the next thing
That's a good one. Please just dance together for it. I think that we found this advocacy interest. So you need to do something about it because you're concerned about it. Right? So, yes, you're discussing your friends. Alright, in yellow. Oh, sorry, orange. Okay, so the question is, in the next 10 years, what's the one right you'd like to have, healthcare rights you'd like to have as a young person in Africa?
Is it personally?
Yes, personally. You can start with yourself. And thank you for asking that. That's a good place to start is, what am I not having right now? And seeing what other people not having this and what can I do to solve it?
So for me, I would actually want to speak on behalf of people, especially young children that are growing up. And I actually have interest in eradicating drug abuse for children. So I would like to stand for that particular aspect. I would like to engage people on learning about drug abuse and child.
Great. Let's do that together. Valid points from our two volunteers. Does anyone have any other thing they want to add? Again, I can see someone's hand go up. Oh, waist stretching. Alright, so I think that's a good point for us to ask questions. And I would always say that there's a power in asking questions. And you need to ask questions to the right people. You need to ask the right questions, and you need to also ask at the right time. And I don't think that in a particular situation it is just waiting. Right now, when these issues are being felt, that can be a right time to you. It can be it can be a right time somewhere else. It can be a right time if you're around like Tinubu and all these other cities. That might be a right time to bring up whatever you want to discuss and create advocacy on. So why am I saying ask the right questions? It means that when you ask the right questions, when you ask questions, it helps you to really ask more questions, but also it helps you to be able to develop good ideas. All the good ideas that you have so far, nobody just said, oh, I want to create a plane. And they said, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it and everything. Someone asked why. Was we already working on this plan now? Why do we need to be up there, right? When they started putting things together and they started like bringing all the different components of the place, someone asked, why does this have to be there? So, if there's one thing you leave this place with, is that please don't stop asking questions. And this is honestly something I just said to myself. I think that when you're in the Nigerian system sometimes, you can be very accepting of everything that's thrown at you. And sometimes you're not maybe challenged to question things. Right? I can say, okay, we have so many people sitting here. We have a lot of people sitting closely together. Why are they sitting together? Is it like a sense of community? Maybe they know one another, right? Or why do we have more people sitting? Why do we have people sitting at that side? Is it so that they can go out and, asking questions a lot can seem like you're overthinking, but it helps you design the right solutions for them. It's a long message. All right. Yeah, so you also, when you're asking the right questions, it helps you sort of think to yourself and say, how do I become a better person? How do I become better equipped to be able to answer the solutions that the world is also asking of me? Right? That's when the Walisha was asking the question of what are the skills that you need. If you don't ask questions, you can't know what you even need. Like, you can't have that interest to start with. Right? So that's why it's important for you to ask questions, to say, okay, the world is asking this question of me. There's an issue on substance abuse for young people. Why is this the situation? And what do I need to do to be able to address this situation? Right, so to just conclude this is to say that in the next 10 years, so let's say a 2035 vision, we can build a world where young people can access essential services without financial hardship. I want to a solution on registering everybody with, an insurance. That's a good thing, right? We can ensure that we have young healthcare workers that are paid, right? We have a lot of people that are doing work and volunteering, which is great, but in a very free place, and I embrace that truth in the fact that they are doing work that really matters. And also, again, with my own interest in maternal mortality, I would want a world where in this, what we have is especially a bad narrative of healthcare in Nigeria, that's out, and that's not just being practical, right? And to just say, what would be like your 3 months commitment? So that's you have some months at the end of the year. So before the end of the year, what do you want to take out of the ILNECDOS conference? What's the one thing that you want to do? Because the thing is centered on advocacy, right? So you can decide to form your own group. If you're not part of the youth society, this is an opportunity for you to do that. Be part of a community that advocates on this topic. You can join a research group to develop a policy brief. You can meet with people, your student leaders who do a lot of policy work to be able to drive the work that you do. You can launch your own youth-led and youth-focused initiative in the next 3 months. That's very possible. So, to close, I'll just say that when you were sort of in that time travel space and you move into the future, will you say to yourself that, people are asking this question of you and saying they're counting on us, when you go to the future, will you say that you answered from now? And the only way you can do that is if you leave this conference acting on things. Thank you very much.
All right, can we celebrate Mary? Don't worry, I'm not asking you to stand the camera. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thank you so much. I was tempted to ask you to stand up again, but if I want to go home with my footage complete, I think I only want to do that. So do you have any questions for Mary before she quickly takes a leave? So you only have 1 more session to do, and that's all for today, don't worry. And food is already on the way, not here already. So I understand. Somebody say I will not be tired. Come on. You know that you can say it and the strength will come. She will not be tired. My brother, please come on. Don't worry, when I do. You remember there was a guy that should. Oh, interesting, don't worry. We'll reserve the rest to later time. So quickly, we have an youth fellow and also the president of Youth Society in Delsu, all the way from Abraka. He wants to teach us a skill in 90 seconds, and the skill is teaching us is adaptability. And he's been in the media room since the program started, so you might not have been seeing his face. So in just 90 seconds, Nelson Ejumedia is set to teach us adaptability in 90 seconds. So please have a question.
Good afternoon. So I'm teaching you guys a skill, adaptability. This is a skill that I learned during my Marquising Forward program. And in Marquising Forward program, there are three things that we use for adaptability, and that is awareness, pause, and refrain. Imagine a situation whereby you are being faced with a very difficult decision. Or let's say, for example, you are in a team and then you're supposed to you're supposed to submit a file or submit something that will actually make your team to be able to complete a project that they're doing, but you're able to meet up with that submission. And then the leader of the team is like, why did you not submit this thing? We're actually waiting on you. Look at what happened now. You've made us to lose this opportunity. What do you do at that particular point? That is adaptability. How will you be able to adapt to that particular situation? So now if you look at the next slide, please. If you look at the method that we use, we have the awareness, pause, and refrain. Next slide. So awareness means that you are aware that, okay, I've done something wrong. You are aware that, okay, this is a bad thing. You're not able to meet up with the deadline. You are aware of that. Accept it. Then pause. Think. Okay, how am I going to solve this thing now? What will I do? Is this person just criticizing me for no reason or something? What will you do to actually explain to him that, okay, this is what happened or that is what happened? Then refrain. You come up with a better way to actually do that thing. Now let's look at it from the leader's perspective. Now, you see that your teammates are able to submit up with a particular submission, and then you don't just go about and say, why did you not do this? Why did you not do that? Well, why were you not able to submit this? And just walk away. There's a more better way to actually approach that person. You are aware that, okay, this person was not able to submit, and then you pause and think, okay, why was he not able to submit? So instead of you just being so angry at the person, you can ask the person, okay, what is the issue? Is anything the problem? What's happening? How are you able to solve it? And with that, you go to build a better team where communication will be better and more adaptable working environments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Can we please appreciate him once again? Don't be kind of clapping. You never really know how hard it is for you to be able to make a presentation until you step into their very shoes. Speaking is not easy, and speaking just goes much more beyond you holding the mic and say, oh, this and this. It takes a lot of mental work and a lot of mental bandwidth for someone to come off stage to address a lot of people. Well, we're not having but whatever, be it small crowd or big crowd or whatever you call it, it's a lot of work. So that's how we ensure that we celebrate them and appreciate them properly. So I have a quick announcement to make from SRHIN, right? And I want us to pay close attention. So I'll just reading it out. So a paper will be passed around now for anyone that can hold a conversation in Pidgin. If you are very fluent with Pidgin, please, we beg you to please scan the QR code that will pass across the paper. If you feel that you can talk in Pidgin, I think we have people from Delta, from Univen, and I believe they should be very clear. Yeah, I can see their reaction already, right? I think OV will try that out. So I think OV will be the number one volunteer. You can just give me the paper to scan. He's at the back. The man is right. I think he will be a very good asset for this. So if you feel you are interested, or you feel like, don't feel, if you know you are capable, please ensure you scan the QR code and join WhatsApp that is available. Thank you so much. Right, so we have, before we have the very last thing we are doing today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce to you that food is ready. I can't see exactly. So we have another person, all the way from Univen, right? She's going to give us this, she's delivering a spoken word presentation, right, on LGBT. Please move forward. Sorry, I was just corrected. I just there are two people. So sorry, Elisha, right? So please kindly welcome Elisha and Angelica. Thank you very much. And you guys will have attention.
World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity.
But I would say it goes beyond the individual's physiology, mental state, and social well-being. Health is the environment, the government, you, me.
It is more than a number of nuts considered lucky to have delivered safely. It is more than a child in the South considered privileged for finishing vaccine. Way more than students in the East prayed for enduring depression in silence. And much more than a girl in the West called blessed for even knowing what health is.
Isn't health justice for the society? A judiciary that is bold and rebellion against prejudice? Because how can we think we are healthy?
When Ngozi still cries to her mother, begging her auntie to stop cutting her cousins in the name of tradition, but with silence instead.
When geography determines access,
and race determines treatment,
and gender determines education,
and equity. Sameness isn't equity. Equality gives you and me the same thing.
But equity states that everybody needs.
It listens before prescribing. Remember that coloring clean water more than syringes.
But how? How can we be well when the system that surrounds us is sick? How can we be well when the water that gives life carries disease?
And how can we be whole when some are still being sold, told their bodies are not even their own?
This is a call, a message. This is health, and health equity says, who cares? Who cares to status, to pockets, to tribe, to religion, to race, to gender? Health equity looks the disease in the eyes and says, this here is a cure. Here is a cure.
Health equity is saying that, okay, I want to know the illness by name, but cures it without knowing the name. Listen, we are not here to recycle grievances.
We are not here to play politics or move within the sidelines.
We are here to end the long pause between promises and action. Close the chasm between what is said and what is actually done.
This generation, one that is born to send hashtags faster than policies, we need solutions, we need change that do not have to begin from FCT.
It has to start from our streets, our communities, our collective wills. We have to turn proposals and flyers into programs that breathe, that serve, and that helps.
We
must wear resilience as a second skin.
This is not a choice.
It's a heritage.
I would have to say this slowly. That this is beyond advocacy. This is a baby being born. An idea like a baby being born. It is the fusion of two concepts like a zygote growing in the womb of the society. I may not believe in Big Bang Theory, but why do we have to wait 1,000,000 years to get the moment right when we can begin right now, right here?
Our prayer is a request. The kingdom we all hope for will come, but we all have to do what needs to be done. We, the youth, must turn SDG to our daily bread. We, health equity champions, must turn health is a right to our signature, pledging, I am a healer. And we, healers, making bold moves and leaving big impacts.
And guess what? We have just begun. Come on, say
Slum will be around. Princess will all be. Alright. So please, one last presentation from Princess, and then I'll bring Mr. Toby to come around the session for today. And so you can figure out this. And there is another waiting for you, so please. Just watch out. You can announce it when it comes on board. Alright, Princess, sit down.
Of Nigerian women never return from childbirth. 7% of our children never live to see 5. This is not from war. This is not their destiny. This is from malaria, from diarrhea, from hunger. 12%. That's all the doctors serving the villages. Yet, 70% of Nigerians live there. 70%. And still, the budget flows to the cities. 30% of the people eating the lion's share, while the rest of us drink diseases with our water. 50%. Half of rural Nigeria still drink unsafe water. Imagine, in 2025, your cousin is still bending by the river, cupping brown liquid with both hands, praying it does not kill her children. And we just watch. This is Nigeria. This is Africa. This is health inequity. We say we are leaders of tomorrow, but tomorrow is here and we are not ready. We say Africa will own the global workforce, but how? When children are stunted by hunger, when compete with the world, this a mother who bleeds out in labor. It looks like a child who comes online a vaccine. It looks like a father who counts his coins, choosing sicknesses to treat. But instead, we blame the government. We argue about whose tribe is better. We fight for power while our people fight to live. We solve the problems of the rich while we neglect the poor and they die. But everything means this. The village mother matters as much as the city mother. The poor child and the rich child deserve the same chances. Your life, my life, their lives, our equal worth. So if we are youth, then we must rise, not just as the leaders of tomorrow, but as voices of today, starting with bold moves and reaching for great impact. Because health without equity is not health, and a nation without equity cannot stand.
Integrity, empathy, courage. Today and every day, I commit to being a force for health equity in my school, my community, and the world. And this is where we take the high notes, and after that, we'll shout, already. I want to get that spirit. So, I am change. I am impact. I am a healer. I am change. I am impact. I am a healer. Now, do that shout.